Good evening. Welcome to our Bible study. As usual, I'm going to kill a little bit of time for people to join in and start able to watch, the regular visitors and regular watchers. So I'm going to start with some jokes. What has four wheels and flies? A garbage truck. There's background laughter now. I have a phobia of over-engineered buildings. I have a complex. What did the zombie girl say to the zombie boy? Are you going to kiss me or rot? People are groaning on the sides. Evan's going to boo. My math teacher called me average. How mean. Well, you have to be a math person to understand that. If you don't know, average equals mean. It's the same thing.
The joke clued us in.
The joke clued her in, yeah. Why did the painting go to jail? It was framed. What are you whispering, Evan?
Really? I thought it was because the painting committed several war crimes.
Why did Cinderella get kicked off the soccer team? Because she ran away from the ball. So, I'm terrified of elevators. I'm taking steps to avoid them.
I know some people like that.
I guess an angry face. What travels around the world but stays in one corner? A stamp. How many more should we do? Got 6 people. We got Alen, we got Nate, we got Joyce. We saw Rick in there. Oh, Tina's in there now. A courtroom artist was arrested today for an unknown reason. Details are sketchy. Oh, here we go. Maybe I'll close with this one. Maybe I'll do another one. We'll see. What did one hat say to another? You stay here. I'll go on ahead. That wasn't very good. I did another one besides that. No, I think I saw a teary face. I'm not going to do that one. What did one magnet say to another? I find you very attractive. Oh, one more. How much time have I used up? 3 minutes. Got some viewers in here, so that's pretty good, I think, for right now. Let's see. That's not that good. Clarks are good to go. Yeah, we'll do this one. Don't you hate it when someone answers their own questions? I do. Okay, I'll close with this one. This is a good last one. Hedgehogs, huh? Why can't they just share the hedge? Nobody likes that one, it seems. Okay, we'll close there. We've been talking about love. Talking about love and how we can apply it and what it means. And loving isn't necessarily just showing it to other people. It also includes showing love to yourself, so treating yourself properly and making sure you're taking care of yourself. And in our passage in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, there's some qualities of love. So I'm going to demonstrate one of the qualities of love with some help. So we'll start with that. And we're going to demonstrate some of the qualities of love. The idea here is, is for you to tell me what this quality is in the comments. And it's not going to stop until you guys get the answer, until I see it in the comments. So I'm just going to sit here.
Gotta be patient.
There's people watching, but nobody's commenting yet. Remember, this isn't going to stop until somebody gets the right answer in the comments.
It's patient.
I'm demonstrating a quality of love. We have a guy from Carl from Texas is watching. That's what Nate's saying.
Not unbelievable.
Oh, Joyce says that's the opposite of love. It's irritating people. Oh, Rick said it right, so now Mia can stop. It's patience. I was demonstrating patience. Oh, and Joyce says love would be stopping. So if you really loved me, Mia, you would have stopped. But that is the quality of love, or that is one of the qualities of love that's listed in our passage, is patience. It's something that we do. If we love somebody, we bear up in certain situations to show them that love, to show them that patience. And it's something that's very true. And again, in the comments, if you can, list some situations where you have to exhibit patience. I think right now in our physical distancing situation that we're in now, there might be some good examples in there on how we can exhibit patience. You saw some examples right there. Sometimes people do things that are annoying, that get on your nerves. They may not be wrong one way or the other. Might be an incorrect act, but they get on your nerves. There's something that kind of bothers you. It's something that you don't like. And you putting up with that and you being patient with that person is really showing them love. You're showing them that quality of love is patience. It could be driving. Driving is one example where I don't really drive a lot. I tend to ride my bike. But those are times when you can get really aggravated. I've driven with some people that really get mad driving their car. And they really lose their patience. And that's one way that you can exhibit your patience. Again, the love that's listed in 1 Corinthians 13 isn't restricted to just the people that you like, or your friends, or your family. It's to everybody. You're supposed to show these qualities of love to everybody in the world, so that would include other drivers, which is pretty challenging sometimes. Tina says anytime she has to use a computer, she has to exhibit patience, and I can relate to that. One of the things that tends to drive me crazy is when something doesn't work the way it's going to work. So if I'm clicking something on the computer and I know what it's supposed to do and it's not doing it, it just drives me nuts, drives me up the wall. And you really have to show patience. You have to show that quality of long suffering with the computer. Some people might be using or exhibiting patience through lasting through this COVID situation, through the pandemic. A lot of people aren't able to do the things that they really want to do. Again, if you're a homebody, if you're somebody kind of like me, I guess, in a sense, where I don't mind staying at home. I think it's kind of nice and relaxing. But there's a lot of people that really, really miss hugs, and they really miss getting together with people and their families and friends. And they really have to show patience in lasting through this, because this is lasting a pretty long time. We're up to probably 55 days since this all began. So it's something that really is just going on. And it's really where you have to show patience and exhibit patience. Melinda says, taking the time and patience to listen to people instead of finishing their sentences when I think I know what they're going to say. It's another one I can relate to. If you think you know what the person's going to say, you got to kind of hold back and let them finish their sentence. One thing I learned in management training was oftentimes, and it's a principle in the scriptures, it's another one of those things that I've learned has that parallel, that people see how things work in the real world and they realize that God already wrote it in the Bible, is people tend to listen to look for a chance to respond instead of actually just listening to the person. And it takes patience to really just kind of listen to what the person's trying to say and listen to understand rather than trying to listen to respond. Nate says Zoom taught him patience. And that's true too. Back to the computers. Back to how computers work and computers operate. They can be pretty frustrating sometimes. It can be something that we have to develop that patience. If you have your Bibles, please go to 1 Corinthians 13. We're going to read verses 4 to 8 again. We're going to read that passage. And we're going to see some of these qualities. And one way I've heard this described, which is really interesting, was the ingredients of love. This is an ingredient list of love. So 1 Corinthians 13, we're going to start in verse 4. It says, love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud, it does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. So here we have this list, again, kind of an ingredients list of love, maybe qualities of love, ways that you show love. And we're going to start right at the first one, and we're going to see love is patient. So what does that really mean? patience in this passage, the Greek word for that, again, these are really hard for me to pronounce, but makrometheo. So it's this Greek word that talks about being long of spirit, not to lose heart. It says to persevere patiently and bravely in enduring misfortunes and troubles. Having my pen clicked in my ear is a misfortune. It's a trouble, and I persevered patiently and bravely through that, as you saw. To be mild and slow in avenging, not seeking out that revenge. If somebody cuts you off in the road, you don't try to speed up and cut them off. You have patience in that situation. To be long-suffering, slow to anger, slow to punish. These are all ways to describe what this Greek word means. Is what's being said is love is patient. This is what this word means, and this is how it's shown. So another question for you, if you have your typing fingers ready and you're going to respond in the comments, is how does patience complement the other qualities in this list? How many of these other qualities go with patience, and how does it help these other qualities? One thing about patience is that some problems have no easy solutions. And again, I think we're going through that now in the situation of this COVID, of the pandemic that's happening right now. There's no easy solution. It's difficult for a lot of people. This physical distancing has really thrown a lot of turmoil into people's lives. So they're experiencing economic hardships, they're experiencing mental hardships, spiritual hardships, that close contact with people that a lot of people crave. And there's no easy solutions. Maybe some other people that you have relationships with have problems that are not easily solved, or they might just have no solution at all. And these people are experiencing these hardships, and you're with them. The impulse might be just to ditch them, just to say, okay, I'm not going to hang around you anymore. You're too much trouble to be around. But that's where patience or long suffering comes in. It's really something that gives love its durability. It gives its strength. If you have patience, if you're showing love to people in the world and you have patience, you can put up with those things that you might not like, that is a misfortune or a trouble to you. If other people are going through troubles, you can be with them and experience those troubles with them and try to help them through that situation with that love. So it's something that can really be shown to people, and it's really shows that durability of love, that strength of love that we can have. It's easy to love someone with other qualities listed here if everything is going well. But if things are going bad, that's when it really gets tough, and that's where patience really comes in. What if somebody's suffering from a terminal disease or having trouble finding a job? Again, you might not want to talk to them, like just pull back and not discuss things with them. But if you have patience in that situation, you can show them that love long term and simply not just cut them off. Using patience can show the other qualities in this list. Again, the question is, how does patience complement the other qualities in the list? Joyce says, when other people are patient with me or around me, it's easier for her to be patient. That's very true. If people have that positive reaction around you, you can be inspired by that, and you can have patience too. My mom off to the side write a physical comment. We need to be patient with ourselves in learning all of these qualities. That's very true. If you're trying to develop the love of yourself and the love to other people that you show, and you're trying to learn these other qualities, if you're trying to learn these qualities like being not easily angered, keeping no records of wrongs, not being proud, you have to be patient with yourself in applying those qualities in your life. That's a very good point. That's how it really complements those other qualities and gives love that durability, that lasting power to go through that learning process to pick up these other qualities, these other ingredients of love. If you have patience, you're going to tend to be more kind. If somebody cuts you off in traffic, you're going to be more kind. You're going to be forgiving to that person because you can be patient. It's not going to bother you as much. You can say, I can let that go. And then maybe you would let them in later on down the road. Maybe down the road there's some construction and they're driving beside you and you let them in front of you. That's showing love, and that's patience. And if you have that patience, then you can show that kindness to them. If you have patience, you're not going to be easily angered. That's one thing that's very difficult to control and very difficult to learn. Anger is one of those things that is an emotion, and it's something that does just kind of yourself. But it's still something that is very difficult to control because it is an emotion, but it is something that can be practiced, and you have to have patience with yourself in developing that quality. If you have patience, you're going to hope, you're going to persevere, you're going to last through those situations that are difficult. It's something that you need, that patience to complement these other things in that list, because it's something that will help you learn those qualities and help keep those qualities alive as you put them into practice in your life. Rick is saying patience, everyone, in the comments. It's very applicable. So how can you develop patience? Again, if you have something in the comments, please write them in the comments. How can you develop patience? How can patience be developed in your life? We're going to go to another passage in Romans chapter 12. Tina says, if you can be patient when you won't react badly, when you witness rudeness or pride, etc., other bad qualities like that, then maybe you'll have a chance to help someone who is reacting to a situation. That's very true. You can help somebody and show them love by helping them through a certain situation if you're exhibiting patience and not getting swept up in the emotion of maybe somebody who is treating you badly, and you're not getting, it's not affecting you. You're letting it kind of roll off your back. You're able to help people through that situation, and that's one of the qualities that a lot of really good negotiators and people who are settling arguments down, being those peacemakers at times, that's one of the qualities they have, is that patience and not getting swept up in the anger and the emotion of the situation. So if you go to Romans 12, we're going to start in verse 9. This is really almost a parallel passage to 1 Corinthians 13. It's describing love and a lot of the qualities of love. Romans chapter 12, starting in verse 9. It says, love must be sincere. Hate what is evil. Cling to what is good. Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. Never lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor, serving the Lord. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Share with the Lord's people who are in need. Practice hospitality. Bless those who persecute you, and bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Mourn with those who mourn. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be proud, but be willing to associate with people of low position. Do not be conceited. One thing that popped into my head, I might have read this somewhere, but it popped into my head. If you're trying to develop patience with the 3 P's. Practice, practice, practice. Something you have to just keep practicing. I heard somebody say once, it's actually challenging if God answers your request to learn how to be more patient, because it takes practice. You have to just experience it and live through it and develop that emotion, or that quality of patience, that ingredient of patience. When I read mourn with those who mourn, and even rejoice with those who rejoice, I really like that passage showing how we experience things with the people that we love, and we experience patience with them, and also with them and experiencing the hardship that they're going through. And it reminded me of a little situation, a little thing that I read once online. Facebook's not all bad sometimes. After all, we're on Facebook, so it can't be bad all the time. But one of the things that I read, it was from Winnie and the Pooh. So I wouldn't be surprised if some people heard this before. But I'm going to read it. It's got a little picture. Let's see if I can hold it up there. So we got Eeyore going into his little lean-to hut there, and you got Pooh and Piglet. We always called him Glet when we were kids because the book had the P ripped off. And you got Christopher Robin standing there in his raincoat. So I'm going to read this. That's the setting. And I really like this. And again, keep in your mind what reminded me of this little story was mourn with those who mourn. It occurred to Pooh and Piglet that they hadn't heard from Eeyore for several days. So they put on their hats and coats and trotted across the 100-acre wood to Eeyore's stick house. Inside the house was Eeyore. "Hello, Eeyore," said Pooh. "Hello, Pooh," said "Hello, Piglet," said Eeyore in a glum-sounding voice. That didn't sound very glum. "Hello, Pooh. Hello, Piglet," said Eeyore in a glum-sounding voice. "We just thought we'd check in on you," said Piglet, "because we hadn't heard from you, so we wanted to know if you're okay." Eeyore was silent for a moment. "Am I okay?" he asked eventually. "Well, I don't know, to be honest. Are any of us really okay? That's what I ask myself. And I can tell you, Pooh and Piglet, that right now I feel rather sad and alone and not much fun to be around at all." which is why I haven't bothered you, because you wouldn't want to waste your time hanging around with someone who is sad and alone and not much fun to be around at all, would you? Pooh looked at Piglet, and Piglet looked at Pooh, and they both sat down on either side of Eeyore in a stick house. Eeyore looked at them in surprise and said, "What are you doing?" "We're sitting here with you," said Pooh, "because we are your friends. And true friends don't care if someone is feeling sad or alone or not much fun to be around at all. True friends are there for you anyway. And so we are here." "Oh," said Eeyore. "Oh." And the three of them sat there in silence, and while Pooh and Piglet said nothing at all, somehow, almost imperceptibly, Eeyore started to feel a tiny little bit better, because Pooh and Piglet were there, no more, no less. So it's kind of a cute story, but it's really true in that sense. We mourn with those who mourn. Eeyore was going through a sad time, and Pooh and Piglet could have just took off. Said, "Oh, he's boring, he's depressing, we're just going to leave him." And that happens to a lot of people. If people are going through troubles, a lot of people are going through this COVID situation in a difficult way, in a hard way. And they're feeling sad, they're feeling alone, they're not feeling very good. We don't have the ability to sit with people right now like they did in their little stick hut, but we can reach out to those people and talk to those people and experience this difficult time with them and show that patience through the situation, patience with them, and just be there for them. Just show them that love. Because really, patience through these types of situations and through these hard times really helps those other people. And the more you do that, the better you're going to get at that, is experiencing and practicing this patience. One thing that I find is really powerful in learning and developing patience is distraction. This is almost a kid's trick. If your kid is getting angry or mad or something, your child's going through a rough time, distract them. Just bring something else totally not in the situation into that situation. It distracts them. "Hey, what about this book? Oh, what'd you do at school?" You just bring in something totally different, and it kicks them off of that bad spot that they're in. And we could do that too. If we're losing patience, try to put your focus on something else. Like in this passage in Romans chapter 12, as it really talks about that action. Share with the Lord's people who are in need. Practice hospitality. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. If somebody's angering you, like in Tina's example, where if you're witnessing that rudeness or pride or a negative quality in somebody, then practice that patience and practice blessing them. Try to find out how can you help that person instead of pushing them away or getting that revenge. Practice. The more you practice and the more you look for those things, the better you are going to get at it. The difficult it is sometimes is because it is that anger can well up inside you sometimes, and that anger almost takes over. You kind of see red and you just fly off the handle. That's a really tough one, and I'm not sure how you can deal with that again without just trying your best and practicing. One thing that's really powerful is breathing. It's one thing that I read somewhere is that if you have that elevated breath, it's fast breath, and you're mad and you're angry and you're breathing fast and hard, if you take the second to breathe in nice and easy, let it out nice and easy. Take those slow breaths, in, out, in, out. When you're breathing fast, your body thinks it's in flight mode. It's in fight or flight. You're in kind of that panic mode. If you start breathing easy, your body all of a sudden thinks that you're resting and you're doing pretty well. So it's something that you can kind of trick your body into getting out of that anger state so you can exhibit patience. You can exhibit that patience, and when you have patience, you can better show love. You can better show those other qualities that are listed in 1 Corinthians 13 and Romans 12 to whoever you're with and also to yourself. But it's really a practice thing. We may not be able to present a solution sometimes. That's one thing I wanted to point out, is that showing patience with somebody doesn't mean ignoring a problem if there is one. There's a lot of situations that can't be solved, but some that can. And as you help somebody grow and help somebody develop, including helping yourself grow and helping yourself develop, you can show them patience, but you shouldn't be ignoring the problem altogether. Just saying, "Oh, I just have to bear under this," and not do anything about it. If there's something that can be done, by all means, you should be doing it, trying to fix the situation as best you can. But there are times where it just isn't possible. Again, like terminal illness, the COVID situation. We could do what we can right now and do all we can, but we still have to bear in patience through the situation because it becomes out of our control at a certain point. Melinda says, "I like the parallel definition of patience being long-suffering. the opposite of that word might be short pleasure. So it reminds me of instant gratification when we see people craving in our society and acting upon that. It's something that's very true. Patience is something that I've noticed in myself and I've noticed with other people. It's really hard to just sit still now because we have so many things that keep us busy and keep us, I guess, activated or enticed at all times. One thing that I've noticed now that I've been shopping and you're trying not to touch stuff, as you shop, is one thing I do is when I leave my office, usually I go shopping after I'm done at the office at work. My office is kind of a clean zone, so I got my hands all washed. I put my phone in my pocket, and then I leave the office, and I don't touch my phone until I get home, until after I wash my hands when I'm back in the house, and I take my phone out, because I don't want to have to keep cleaning my phone all the time. And I've noticed since I've been in the lineups at the store, it's very strange, because I would just immediately reach in my pocket and grab my phone and start looking at my phone because I'm standing in the line. I don't have patience. Whereas right now I'm kind of relearning that patience, especially since it takes longer to get through a lineup now. The grocery store that I go to, they clean the little belt that moves the groceries between every single person. So you have to wait till that person's done and moved on. They clean the belt and then you put your groceries on. So you're just standing there just waiting patiently, very patiently. You're not getting that instant gratification. It is something that's very, very true in our society is we can have that instant gratification, and patience is long suffering. It's not short pleasure. So it's something that we can experience that way. So that's a very good quality of love, I think. I'm not sure if he meant to do that one first, but God, I think, if he wrote the scriptures, everything he did in there, he did for a purpose. And he started with patience. If we have that patience in love, as we develop those other qualities and those other ingredients, we are going to have that durability that we can practice those other things and have that practice in those other things. So I think I'll close there. I think right now at this point, I'm going to offer a word of prayer. Would you please bow your heads with me? Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening that we can get together virtually and present a lesson and look at the quality of patience and how that is a quality of love. That if we do have love for people and that we should be practicing love to other people, that we must have that quality of patience and develop that patience in our lives. I pray that you can help us with that. Pray that when we do have those times where things are out of our control, that we continue to remember you and that you've given us the tools to deal with those things as best we can. Most of all being prayer, that we can use prayer to talk to you and help us through those difficult times so that we can have patience in that manner as well. Again, we thank you for this opportunity we had to look at your scriptures tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, thank you very much for joining us. We'll close for tonight, and God bless, and be well, and be safe.